Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today is a rather gray, overcast Tuesday, which feels incredibly fitting for the heavy shadows we need to unpack today. Grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's dive right into the tangled web of Fairmont Crest. There is a specific kind of silence that falls over a crowded room when someone who is supposed to be there simply isn't. I can't help but feel that this exact suffocating silence is what Martin Richardson experienced during his highly publicized charity basketball game. We need to start right there, right in that moment on the court. The cameras are flashing, the crowd is cheering, and Martin is flashing that perfect, practiced political smile. But if you look closely at his eyes, there is a hollow disappointment that he just can't hide. He is looking at the sidelines, searching for the one person who promised to be his anchor in this chaotic political storm, but the seat is empty. Smitty isn't there. And guys, this isn't just a scheduling conflict or a simple misunderstanding. This missed game feels like the first visible crack in a foundation that has been quietly fracturing for weeks. It's the moment the facade drops, and we have to start asking ourselves, how much longer can Martin and Smitty pretend everything is okay? To really understand the weight of this absence, we have to look at what has been happening behind the closed doors of the Richardson home. Lately, Martin and Smitty have been playing the roles of the perfect supportive parents, desperately trying to be the steady ground for Tyrell after his crushing heartbreak over Jessica. Tyrell is spiraling, dealing with the long-distance breakup, the impulsive J tattoo, and the desperate attempts to transfer to UCLA. Martin and Smitty have been holding the line, trying to keep their family stable while the world around them, quite literally after the tornado, is in ruins. But there is a massive difference between holding a family together and actually being together. I keep coming back to the thought that they are so focused on saving Tyrell that they have completely neglected to save themselves. Martin is riding the high of his congressional primary win, but he is also carrying the immense, crushing weight of his past, specifically the lingering traumatic memories of killing Kenny. He needs a win. He needs this charity game to be a simple, uncomplicated moment of joy. He needs his husband, and Smitty promised he would be there. But then we have the podcast, the true crime investigative podcast that has completely consumed Smitty's every waking moment. Smitty is a journalist down to his bones. It is in his blood, his DNA. He isn't just a political spouse meant to smile and wave from the bleachers. He is a hound on a scent. I can completely understand how he got pulled into this new investigation. The adrenaline of uncovering secrets, of piecing together a puzzle. It's intoxicating, but there is something about this specific podcast that isn't sitting right with me. It's not just a side project. It has become an obsession. And this obsession is exactly what kept him away from the basketball game. He got so deep into the rabbit hole of this new case that he lost track of time, lost track of his promises, and ultimately lost track of his husband's needs. When Smitty finally realizes he missed the event, the guilt must have been paralyzing. But the damage was already done. Martin put on a brave face for the public, but inside he was deeply, profoundly disappointed. Now, let's talk about Shonda, Martin's campaign manager, because this is where the story takes a sharp, incredibly dark turn. Shonda has been aggressively, almost frantically, pressuring Smitty to pull the plug on this podcast. On the surface, her argument makes political sense. She claims she doesn't want any controversial content or unexpected scandals derailing Martin's carefully crafted image right in the middle of a crucial campaign. But I have to ask, is that really all it is? I could be wrong, but her reaction feels entirely disproportionate. Campaign managers deal with PR risks all the time. They spin, they manage, they control. But Shonda isn't just managing, she is terrified. She is acting like a woman who knows that there is a ticking time bomb under her desk, and Smitty is the one holding the detonator. Why is she so desperate to shut him down? What is she so afraid that he is going to find? The truth might be far more complicated than it appears. As Smitty dives deeper into his investigation, believing he is looking into a completely independent, isolated true crime case, he stumbles upon something that makes his blood run cold. He finds a link, a missing piece of the puzzle that connects directly back to Martin's political campaign. Maybe it's a shady financial transaction, a dark money donor, or a covered up event from the past. Suddenly, this isn't just a podcast anymore. This is a direct threat to his own household. I can only imagine the sheer panic setting in for Smitty. He is standing at the edge of a cliff, looking down at a secret that could absolutely obliterate his husband's career. And the most terrifying part, he is the one who dug it up. This discovery fundamentally shifts the power dynamic. When Shonda continuously warns Smitty that he is going too far, demanding that he stop the broadcast, Smitty's investigative instincts kick into overdrive. He starts to realize that Shonda's panic isn't about protecting Martin's public image. It's about protecting a dangerous secret. I can't help but feel that Shonda is hiding something massive, something she brought into the campaign without Martin's knowledge. Is she protecting herself? Is she protecting a shadowy backer? Or worse, is she somehow connected to the broader sinister elements in Fairmont Crest, like the Red Market or the plasma ring that Smitty was already investigating? Shonda is playing a very dangerous game of chess, and she is trying to use Smitty as a pawn. But Smitty is not a pawn. He is the guy who flips the board. The tension skyrockets when Martin discovers what Shonda has been doing behind his back. Imagine being Martin in this scenario. You are the candidate, the man in charge, the one whose name is on the ballot, and you find out that your own campaign manager has been secretly intimidating and pressuring your husband. Martin is a man who has struggled with control and trauma. When he finds out about Shonda's meddling, his fury must be absolute. He realizes that Shonda is overstepping her boundaries, controlling the narrative in his own home. This is the moment Martin starts to wake up. He starts to ask the exact same questions we are asking. Why is Shonda doing this? What is she hiding from me? The paranoia begins to seep into the campaign headquarters. Martin realizes he might be sleeping with the enemy. But the enemy isn't his husband, it's the woman running his political life. But before Martin can even process this internal betrayal, the absolute worst case scenario unfolds in public. We have to talk about that catastrophic press conference. Martin is standing there expecting the usual softball questions about his charity work and his vision for the community. Instead, a reporter completely ambushes him with a highly specific, targeted question about the exact case Smitty is investigating. It is a total deer in the headlights moment. Martin is completely blindsided. He hasn't been prepped for this. He doesn't even know the full extent of what Smitty has uncovered because Smitty has been keeping it a secret to protect him. In a matter of seconds, an event designed to project strength and unity turns into a devastating PR nightmare. The cameras capture every micro expression of shock and confusion on Martin's face. This public humiliation is the spark that ignites the powder keg waiting at home. When Martin and Smitty finally face each other behind closed doors, the argument is explosive. It is one of the most intense, heartbreaking confrontations we have ever seen between them. Martin, bruised and humiliated, lashes out. He accuses Smitty of always putting the job first, of prioritizing a story over their family, of letting his obsession with the truth destroy the life they are trying to build. You always choose the work, Martin might scream, the echoes of his own insecurities bleeding through. He feels abandoned, unprotected by the one person who is supposed to have his back unconditionally. But Smitty's defense is equally heartbreaking. He isn't doing this to hurt Martin. He is doing this because he is fundamentally wired to expose the darkness. Smitty fires back, arguing that he cannot simply bury the truth, look the other way, and compromise his entire moral compass just because the fallout might inconvenience their lives. I can't ignore a crime just because I love you, Smitty would say, and you can feel the agonizing weight of those words. This isn't just a fight about a missed basketball game anymore. This is a fundamental clash of values. It is the ultimate dilemma. Do you protect the person you love, even if it means becoming complicit in a lie? Or do you expose the truth, even if it means destroying your own world? Smitty is trapped in an impossible situation. If he publishes the podcast and reveals the dark link to the campaign, he risks ruining Martin's political career, shattering their marriage, and potentially bringing legal or physical danger to their doorstep. But if he stays silent, if he bows to Shonda's pressure and kills the story, he betrays his own soul. He becomes a hypocrite, a journalist who only cares about the truth when it happens to other people. I keep returning to the thought that Smitty is slowly suffocating under the weight of this choice. He thought he was hunting a monster out in the world, only to realize the monster is hiding in his own basement. And what about Shonda? The more I think about her desperate attempts to silence Smitty, the more I believe she is the true villain of this arc. She isn't just a stressed campaign manager. She is a gatekeeper to a secret that could tear Fairmont Crest apart. What if the money funding Martin's campaign came from the very criminal underworld Smitty has been trying to expose? What if Shonda made a deal with the devil to guarantee Martin's win, knowing that Martin's clean, heroic image would be the perfect shield for their illicit activities? Smitty is slowly connecting the dots, realizing that Shonda's panic is the ultimate proof of her guilt. She doesn't care about Martin's heart. She cares about her own survival. As we watch this unfold, the dread is palpable. The stakes have never been higher for the Richardson family. They survived the tornado, they survived the ghosts of Martin's past, and they are trying to survive Tyrell's emotional crisis. But this feels different. This is an inside job. This is a poison slowly seeping into the roots of their marriage. Smitty is holding a lit match in a room full of gasoline, and Shonda is standing by the door, ready to lock them both inside. I can't help but wonder how this is going to end. Will Smitty choose his husband and burn his journalistic integrity to the ground? Or will he hit publish, unleashing a storm that will make the tornado look like a gentle breeze? And when the dust finally settles and the secrets are laid bare under the harsh light of day, will Martin and Smitty still be standing side by side, or will they be standing on opposite sides of a battlefield they didn't even know they were fighting on? Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because right now I am genuinely terrified for them.